The people are bundled up. It's starting to drizzle just a bit. Blue Jays are still in the clubhouse, and nobody's down in the bullpen as the pitchers haven't even started to warm up. So we are obviously a ways away from the beginning of this game, but this is the first of 3 games here at Fenway, and Blue Jays need to turn things around a bit.
Yeah, they do, and we've been told that there's going to be a delay. They haven't said for how long the delay is going to happen. There's a passing shower that they feel they don't want to get the pitchers up, warmed up, get ready to start this ball game, and then have to sit them back down. So nobody's warmed up. Nobody's even come out of the clubhouse yet for either team. So we will sit and we will wait and let this pass and then play baseball.
Well, I spoke to John Farrell during batting practice, and Farrell said it's probably going to be kind of hit or miss all night long. And as I speak right now, I can see Juan Nieves, the pitching coach of the Red Sox, walking out toward the Red Sox bullpen. And it looks as though they have decided that they might just make their way down there. And Joe Kelly is on his way as well. He's the starter, so it looks like they might be thinking about starting to warm up, but it's still a ways away. I would say at least a half an hour before we have anything going on here.
Well, the good sign is they don't have a tarp on the field right now. They're poised and they're ready to go if they need to put the tarp on. That's debatable right now what they're going to do. We'll just have to just sit back and see how this plays out. You can see right there, they've covered the home and they've covered the pitcher's mound, so it might be a little bit of time.
Yeah, it's nothing real serious right now, but we're going to stand by, and that's it from Fenway Park, and now we'll go back to Jamie Campbell. quite a while where it didn't rain.
It rained on the field. They watered the field down.
Aaron Sanchez is all set, getting a good high five attaboy from his teammates down in that bullpen after warming up. Joe Kelly, the starter for the Cardinals, from the Cardinals, now he's with the Red Sox, has already made his way in from the bullpen, so he's all set. Umpires have already had their meeting at home plate with the managers, and we are just about ready to start. When you think back to that weekend, it was a tough weekend for the Blue Jays down at Tropicana Field, and the Tampa Bay Rays, they're pitching as well as anybody right now.
Yeah, anybody in baseball, not just the American League. Blue Jays 0-3, obviously. Their earned run average didn't do them any favors. Their earned run average was over 7 while they were down there. And look at the batting average. That was against Chris Archer, who was outstanding yesterday. You saw Drew Smiley, who was very good, and Erasmo Ramirez and the rest of the bullpen. Blue Jays outscored by 15 runs in those 3 games against Tampa Bay. They're going to have to strap it on today. This is a good Red Sox team.
At Tropicana Field, the Blue Jays had just 3 doubles, 3 home runs, and they struck out 27 times in that 3-game series. But it's a different story when they come in here to Fenway. Last year, the Blue Jays in this ballpark went 7-2. And their ERA, a very respectable 3.14. But look at the difference in the home runs. The Blue Jays bats come alive when they step into Boston.
And when they hit the home runs, look at the runs scored. They outscored the Red Sox in their own ballpark by 30 runs last season. That was a big thing for them. They can pitch, and it's going to be very interesting to watch these two teams go at each other in the 3 games here because they're very similar. Their pitchers haven't gotten it on track, and their hitters haven't gotten on track. Who's going to go first in this series?
Good news for John Gibbons. Jose Bautista is back in the lineup. He missed 5 games with that shoulder problem. It is Reyes, Travis, and then Josh Donaldson. Donaldson at Fenway Park has hit well. 7 for 17. He's also drawn 7 walks, so he sees the ball well in this ballpark. And right behind him, there is Jose Bautista. In 21 games in his career batting in a cleanup spot, he's hit .296, but he loves hitting in this ballpark. A .299 career hitter here at Fenway Park, and they are set to take on Joe Kelly, the young right-hander for the Red Sox.
Red Sox are coming off of a rout in Baltimore. The Orioles hammered them yesterday 18-7, so they could use a good game from their starter, Joe Kelly. He gets the ball for the 4th time this season, all against the American League East teams. There are his numbers right there, 1-0 with 408 earned run average. Good game versus the Yankees, decent one versus Baltimore. Then last start versus Tampa Bay, not so much. He has been impressive against the Blue Jays in his lone start versus Toronto. 3-hit ball over 6 innings with 4 strikeouts. He's got a big arm.
He was throwing up to 99 miles an hour in that last start against Tampa Bay, and then he hit a brick wall in the 6th inning. He didn't retire a batter in the 6th inning, gave up 4 consecutive singles, and then walked a batter, and he was out of the game. Take a look at the defense. It's a different look for Boston all over the diamond. In the outfield, yeah, that's Hanley Ramirez, the former shortstop. He's playing left. Rookie Mookie Betts is in center field. Brock Holt, Mr. Utility, he's all over the place. Tonight he's in right. Pablo Sandoval, the free agents at third base. Ander Bogarts and Dustin Pedroia up the middle. Daniel Nava starts at first. And the catcher is the veteran Ryan Hannigan.
And you talk about Mr. Versatility. That's absolutely right. That describes Brock Holt out there. 6 different positions this season that he has started for the Red Sox. The only major leaguer to appear at 6 different positions this season.
And he's a good one. He's off to a great start with the bat as well. Here is Jose Reyes, who did not play yesterday. Kelly delivers the first pitch strike, and we are underway here at Fenway. It is a cool night, certainly not uncomfortable. At start of play, it's 13 degrees. Reyes hits it through the infield into left. For Reyes, a leadoff single. Jose has been scuffling, batting as a right-hander exclusively since cracking that rib.
Against right-handed pitching, and the pitches that he has been hitting are the balls on the inside. And Joe Kelly just left that breaking ball on the inner half, and Reyes, he knows what to do with that.
He was 2 for his previous 22 at-bats before that single. Now Devin Travis, he saw his hit streak come to an end in yesterday's game. Travis finished up 0 for 4 against Chris Archer. Reyes is 2 for 2 so far this season in steals. Travis really spreads out the defense. They are playing him straight away. Infield and outfield.
Boston Red Sox got the scouting report on Devin Travis. They know he's got a little bit of pop. You can see the right fielder Holt playing a little bit deeper now, that he has sent a couple of balls over the right fielder's head. That is about as straight away as you can get in the major leagues.
Two and oh. Boy, that's what you want as a hitter. You want to spread out that defense as thin as you can, and there's so many holes out there when you look up.
Well, you've got to be able to handle pitches, and that's what Devin Travis can do. You throw him inside, he's quick enough to pull the ball to left field. Down the middle, he'll shoot it right back from where it came from, and then you try to pitch him outside, and he's been able to hit the ball the other way. For me, he looks very advanced as a hitter.
There goes Reyes. He got a good jump. Hennigan's throw is not in time. Third stolen base of the season for Reyes. He's 3 for 3.
He had such a big lead over there at first base. And Joe Kelly, I don't know if he forgot about him, but he just threw over there one time, and then that was it. No chance for Hennigan to get Reyes. You can see how large that lead is. He's only thrown out 30% of the runners coming into this game.
It was the first stolen base attempt while Kelly's on the mound. Travis drives it to right. That's a base hit. They're going to wave Reyes home because Holt was so deep. Devin Travis drives in the first run of the ball game. Luis Rivera picked up on the outfield defense and saw how deep Brock Holt was and waved Reyes home.
Well, we mentioned it. We mentioned that the Red Sox have the scouting report on Devin Travis that he can drive the ball over the right fielder's head. He's not a punch and Judy type of hitter. No stride, just uses his hands, shoots the ball the other way, and with Holt deep, it reaches the outfield. Not even an attempt to try and get Reyes at the plate. 1-0.
That's the 12th opposite field hit for Devin Travis. It's also his 17th RBI. This is Josh Donaldson. We mentioned his good numbers in this ballpark. Boy, the Blue Jays, when they get their lineup intact, they can put a hurting on anybody. You look at that game yesterday. Of course, they had so many of the regulars out of the lineup against Chris Archer. Yeah. They couldn't mount much of a attack.
And they've run into some pretty good pitching also. You see Bautista on deck hitting cleanup for the first time this season. Yeah, everybody keeps talking about, well, what's wrong with the Blue Jays? How come they're not hitting? No one's doing anything. They're second in the American League in run score. They've scored 100 runs in 19 games.
Yep, they played 19 games, averaging 5 runs a game.
And they're big guys. The middle of the lineup especially. You've got 3 straight hitters hitting under 200. What's going to happen when they start hitting?
2-0 to Donaldson. Now 3-0. This is a little bit like the last inning for Kelly down at Tampa Bay. We mentioned he went into the 6th inning. He had allowed just 1 run on 4 hits and then ran into a problem. He gave up 4 straight singles before walking the final batter he faced.
He's got the good arm. He's throwing hard. You can see some 97s and a 98 already tonight, but he hasn't been able to put it where he needs to.
Now Donaldson got the green light on 3-0. Well, Blue Jays are up 1-0. Devin Travis has driven in a run, his 17th RBI. That ties Travis with Hanley Ramirez of the Red Sox for 3rd place. Hanley Ramirez is 3rd. Jones and Teixeira. Adam Jones, Mark Teixeira have 18. And Nelson Cruz leads the pack with 20. Pretty quick move by Joe Kelly.
Kelly's a great athlete. You know, he's can do a lot of things on that mound. He fields his position, he holds runners, he's quick over to first base, and he's got a good arm. Red Sox are hoping that he puts it all together for him this year.
Donaldson fouls this one out of play. Joe Kelly came over from the St. Louis Cardinals July 31st last year in a trade that included John Lackey. But Cardinals, they have so much pitching they give up an arm like Joe Kelly. That's the benefit of having a good farm system. When you're deep, you can make those key trades. When you're pennant race, need a veteran like John Lackey, you can give up a good arm.
You can give up a good young arm. You're probably going to have to go out and get another one now with Adam Wainwright going down.
Adam Wainwright hurt himself on Saturday swinging the bat. He made a move out of the batter's box, and diagnosis today is a torn Achilles tendon. He's done for the season. Full count, nobody out. Devin Travis at first. Blue Jays up 1-0. There goes Travis. Ball 4. Ball was outside. Hannigan couldn't wait to hear the umpire's call. He made a strong throw, but it was a moot point. So the first 3 reach here. Now, as if things couldn't go any worse for Joe Kelly, Jose Bautista's back in the lineup in his favorite playing ground.
He loves to hit in Fenway Park. Had a good round of batting practice today. Declared himself healthy. And here he is in the first inning with a couple of runners on base.
Dropped down into the cleanup spot. Nothing's wrong with that swing.
That's 98 miles an hour, and he was right on it.
We mentioned how Bautista loves playing in this ballpark. He's reached base safely in 24 of his last 25 games here at Fenway. Bautista shortened up the bunt. That threw everybody off.
Even the announcers.
Let's talk about these numbers right here. 20 homers and 42 RBIs for Bautista in this ballpark.
Now, why is he showing bunt? Swing away. Just get it up in the air to left field here. It's 3 RBIs.
You can see how Hannigan sets up off the plate. He didn't want to flirt with the inside to Bautista here.
You know, that's what the Rays did so well, I thought, Buck, down in that series in Tampa, that they really pitched the Blue Jays right-handed stud hitters away well. And they kept hitting the corner. Fastballs on the corner, sliders on the corner, saying if you're going to beat me, you're going to have to go the other way.
That's cued off the end of the bat. 1-2 to Bautista. Well, this is where the Blue Jays really want to take advantage of their opportunities here in the first. See if you can get a few more runs here against Joe Kelly before he finds his command.
Historically, you got the right guys up there that you want with a couple of guys on base.
Strikes out that fastball up and in, gets him. That's the first out of the inning.
Joe Kelly's velocity over the last couple of years has really climbed. Watch him take one more quick peek at the runner at second base, Devin Travis, and then throw that fastball. It registered 99 miles an hour. Something that you don't think you would see from a guy who weighs 188 pounds and stands 6'1".
Yeah, he's not certainly an intimidating physical presence on the mound. Travis is really jockeying at second. Comes right back and throws a good first pitch strike to Encarnacion.
You know, if you want to steal or try and do something in this ballpark, you have to be, I think, 100% sure that you're going to make it, because you don't want to give away outs. Not in this ballpark. Not when you've got some guys with one swing of the bat can get you 3 runs.
This is popped up and playable into right field. Brock Holt over deep near the line. He gets the ball in quickly, and Travis holds his ground at second.
Well, we talked about the velocity from Joe Kelly over the last couple of years, and look what he has done over the last 3 seasons. 95, 94.5, and now up almost to 96 miles an hour on that fastball. His fastball strikeout percentage has gone up to 15%. He's one of the hardest throwers in all of baseball with that good fastball, and he's going to have to use it. Good major leaguers, and we've said that before here, good major leaguers can turn that type of fastball around. You got to put it in a good spot.
Batting in the 6th spot is Russell Martin, as Hannigan did a terrific job on that hard breaking ball in the dirt.
Hannigan's a good catcher. That is textbook right there. Go to your knees, bend over, just play it off of your chest protector. Just get that body in front of it somehow.
Russell Martin fouls it back. Russell was 2 for 8 in the Tampa Bay series. He did not play with R.A. Dickey starting. Hit a home run to the opposite field to break a 1-1 tie in game 2.
And then got that infield single to the left side of the infield. His first hit to left field this year. He's starting to zero in on that gap in right center field. Blue Jays can't let Joe Kelly off the hook here. Chance for multiple runs in the first inning. Now they need a clutch 2-out hit.
Yeah, it would actually be a big boost for Joe Kelly if he could get out of this inning with just 1 run. You've been here 100 years now watching ball games in this ballpark. And
close to 100.
1 run's not going to stand up.
No, these are two, like we said at the beginning, two teams that really, the first 3 weeks of the season, have mirrored themselves. Their pitching is scuffling just a little bit. Their hitting at times have been scuffling. They've been, both teams, trouble getting out of the gate consistently. Sometimes
really struggling with his control. He's thrown 23 pitches in the first inning.
At times you get some good pitching and then no hitting, and then the hitting shuts down for a little bit and you start to get some pitching. That's the inconsistencies that you're going to get at the beginning of the season.
Boy, that is a good fastball. I'm telling you what, that was 99 miles an hour, and that's the best Martin could do. Now think about it. That was a 3-1 fastball. He knew he was going to get a fastball, and he's still late. There you see Michael Saunders on deck. They'll be moving on to pitch. Travis from second, Donaldson from first. Blue Jays have scored a run on 2 hits and would like to build on that. Kelly is set. There go the runners. Martin gets a piece of it again. 1 tick shy of 100.
Yeah, well, how about the 2-strike approach right there by Russell Martin? That ball's coming in there quick, and he just flicks his wrist at the baseball.
Is that the 2-strike approach or the 100-mile-an-hour defense?
A little bit of both right there. He caught that one a little bit deep, didn't he? But he was able to foul it off.
3-2, 2 outs will do it again. Russell Martin battling Joe Kelly. Martin is 3 for 6 with a home run against Kelly. And he fouls it off the catcher's glove.
He had a good swing at that one. That bad boy was center cut right there, and Russell had a good swing at it.
Well, one thing for sure, Blue Jays have made Kelly work here in the first.
And they had to use their bullpen yesterday. They got routed down in Baltimore. The starter only went 2 1/3. So they need a long night from Kelly.
He threw him a breaking ball, and Russell Martin had that emergency swing to really stay alive, and he did a great job of fighting off that breaking ball.
That's a veteran swing, isn't it? 2 strikes. He pulls the curveball out of his repertoire. And watch Russell. Whoop. Just get a piece of it. Live for another pitch.
What a great battle here in the first inning. Martin drills it down the left side. That's a fair ball. Travis is in easily. Here comes Donaldson right behind him, and there'll be no throw. Russell Martin drilled that inside heater, and the Blue Jays have put up a 3 spot in the first.
That is one of the best at-bats that we have seen this year by a Blue Jay. You are battling against a guy throwing 99 with a good breaking ball. And I think he saw 9 or 10 pitches here. Kept fouling off the tough pitches and then got another one to his liking on the inner half. And he turns on it. That's going to score Travis easily from second base. Josh Donaldson was thinking about scoring as soon as that ball left the hand of Joe Kelly and was hit by Martin, and he scores without a throw. Watch where this one goes. There's all kind of nooks and crannies that you got to deal with here at Fenway Park. And Ramirez just get it back in.
Two outs now. Michael Saunders takes one inside. Boy, this is the last thing John Farrell wanted to see from his starter. Pat, you mentioned it, Wade Miley. And just 2 2/3, and their bullpen is thin. They just called up a knuckleballer from AAA, Stephen Wright. They need some innings from Kelly.
It's happening way too often early in this season for the Boston Red Sox.
Like you say, these two teams have mirrored one another. Both the Blue Jays and the Red Sox have had starters go 7 or more just 3 times. There's a breaking ball strike. That was pitch number 31 in the inning. Michael Saunders 0 for 6 in his 2 games since being activated off the DL.
Ball's out. Good eye. Still hasn't found that release point on that breaking ball.
So you mentioned Kelly, excuse me, Pat, had that rough inning, his last inning in Tampa Bay, where he didn't retire all 5 of the batters he faced in the 6th.
He said the problem was I wasn't getting ahead of the hitters. I tried to be too fine. I had to throw it right down the middle.
You know, I just don't understand that. A guy throws 100 miles an hour and he's trying to make perfect pitches.
Why? Just throw a low fastball.
Here's the 3-1 to Saunders. It's a high fly ball to deep center. Mookie Betts right at the edge of the warning track, and that'll end the inning. But the Blue Jays jump on Joe Kelly. Russell Martin with the capper. A 2-run double down into the corner. Devin Travis got it all started. An opposite field RBI single to get the Jays off and running here at Fenway. For them as they have an ERA over 5 in the month of April. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Red Sox. Mookie Betts top of the order, Dustin Pedroia, then David Ortiz. Career at Fenway Park. How about 710 RBIs in 866 games, and he is one of the toughest batters for the Blue Jays no matter where they play. Henry Ramirez in his last 3 games has 3 home runs, including 2 yesterday down in Baltimore, 6 for his last 13. And the Blue Jays will take a look at Henry Maris for the first time in the Red Sox uniform.
And Aaron Sanchez. Blue Jays need a big start tonight after the 3-game sweep in Tampa. This is Aaron's first career start versus the Boston Red Sox after 5 relief appearances versus them last season.
Throws a first pitch strike to Mookie Betts. Sanchez sitting on the bench for about 19 minutes in that long inning. Boy, there's a good breaking ball. That's a good sign right there. That was a good breaking ball and just missed that down and away corner.
Yeah, that froze, I think, the hitter and the umpire.
Aaron Sanchez has command issues. Obviously, 7 walks in his last start. Russell Martin made an effort to sit behind the plate with Drew Hutchison, and he planned on doing the same here. That's a knee buckler right there.
That's a good sign when you can see that type of breaking ball in the first inning from Aaron Sanchez. He really hasn't had that pitch this season. He has been very inconsistent with his curveball. He hasn't been able to get the depth that he needs with that breaking ball. That is a good sign. Talked to him a little bit after that last start where he walked 7 batters, and he said, you know, I'm just having trouble commanding my fastball. I'm not real sure where it's going. Sometimes it cuts, sometimes it sinks. So the best idea is just to throw it right down the middle.
Yeah, especially just getting your feet on the ground as a big league starter. Shoot for the big part of the plate. Missed with that pitch and ran on him. Might have been a slider, actually. Didn't break an awful lot, but the velocity suggests it was probably a slider. Dustin Pedroia is on deck, and he bets. Walks, takes one inside. Take a look at the defense behind Sanchez, and this is a look we have seen the last 3 games with Dalton Pompey in left field, Kevin Pillar in center, Michael Saunders in right. The infield is Donaldson and Reyes on the left side, Travis and Encarnacion on the right side, and Russell Martin behind the dish.
Well, there's no question the Blue Jays had their problems in the outfield down in Tampa Bay, all the nooks and crannies in this ballpark. It's going to be tough for the young players to get accustomed to it. Dalton Pompey has had 2 games in this ballpark. Kevin Pillar 7. Michael Saunders just 8 games in Fenway Park. So that's something that we will keep an eye on here this whole series.
Sanchez gets ahead of Pedroia with a fastball strike. The beauty of Sanchez's ability is the fact that his baseball moves. The problem with that is it's hard to get it in the strike zone consistently, but he'll get it. He'll get a consistent release point, gauge where to throw that pitch.
Yeah, he's trying. He's working on things in between starts. He's working on mechanics to make sure that ball gets in there.
Martin with a snap throw to first, and Betts had to scramble to get back. Russ has done a great job of shutting down the running game. He's caught 42% of the base stealers. The Red Sox have been good on the bases so far. They've only been caught 1 time in 13 attempts.
Especially the guy. He's their best base runner, Betts.
There he goes. Ball is fouled off by Pedroia. Mookie Betts was on the move. Betts is 5 for 5 in steals. You mentioned they have been caught just once. Dustin Pedroia was thrown out in his only attempt. He's healthy again. Former Rookie of the Year, MVP, 4-time Gold Glover. About 3 years he's been dealing with injuries.
And he plays hurt all the time. You can't get him out of the lineup.
There goes Betts again, and Russell Martin's throw is a strong one right on the money. Oh, man, what a throw. Russell gets his body angled so he can really get that ball out quickly. This was as good a throw as you will see.
Yeah, what a jump, first of all, by Mookie Betts. But then Martin turns his body, gets everything behind it, and throws it right at the bag. Said, okay, that's how you do it right there. Devin Travis put his glove down right at the bag, and Russell hit that spot.
And Pedroia walks. So there's 1 out, 2 walks already for Sanchez, and Reyes is in from shortstop with some encouragement. And that's the problem the Blue Jays have been dealing with some of their younger pitchers, just the fact they're trying to get them comfortable.
Watch Devin Travis catch this throw. It's a perfect throw. You get it right on the bag. It was the ball and the runner met at the same place at the same time, and Travis was able to grab it, hold on to it as Betts tried to kick it out of his glove. Boy, that's a big play.
Huge play. This is David Ortiz. Ortiz did not play in the game yesterday. He has been off to a slow start. 3 for his last 21 on that road trip. Their road trip took them through Tampa Bay and Baltimore. They were 1-2 in each of those series.
Just a little bit too quick right now is Aaron Sanchez. That front shoulder is opening up just a little bit too quickly. And that is causing the ball. You see it fly up and away to those left-handers.
Ortiz takes it the other way, and this is going to go all the way into the corner. Pedroia is headed for third. He's going to be stopped there by Brian Butterfield. Ortiz going the opposite way, hits it down into the corner in left, and second and third, 1 out for Boston.
Nothing you can do about that. They're playing that Ortiz was going to pull the ball, but he slices it down the left field line. Dalton Pompey getting the start. It's a little bit easier here at left field. Just get the ball and get it back in very quickly.
For Ortiz, that's his second double of the season as Pete Walker has come out. Ortiz now has 60 doubles against the Blue Jays. That's the most against the Blue Jays. His 549th double. It's also his 116th extra base hit against the Jays.
Loving all about that. And the guy hitting right behind him is as good a hitter and hot right now. This is Hanley Ramirez, his average heat map this season. He likes the ball out away from him. You can see from those red dots where he likes it, down and in, or down and away, and over the middle of the plate. He's also hitting .313 on the first pitch, so you got to be very careful with him early in the count.
But at the same time, Sanchez has to probably throw a fastball just to try to get ahead. He does. Pounds that strike zone. Ramirez is one of 10 active 300 hitters in baseball. He is right at 300. Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers leads at 321. You know, you throw around, well, he's a good hitter, he's a 300 hitter. You can't throw around those accolades that easily. There's only 10 of them in baseball.
That's amazing. He's been doing it for a long time, and he does it with power also. Be careful with 2 strikes. He's been hitting the off-speed pitch this year very well. There it is right there. 345 with 2 strikes.
Oh, what a play by Martin. You know, when you're catching a guy like Sanchez who throws 96 miles an hour with movement, it's like you're a goalie. You really got to be light on your feet.
And anticipate pitches like that. That almost tore his glove off. But he caught it. That would have been a run if he misses that.
Pedroia's at third base. Ortiz, who doubles, now at second base. 1-2. Russell Martin really understands what he's dealing with in Sanchez. Aaron Sanchez is a special talent, and I think everybody understands that. You just got to be patient with him, and Russell's just anxious for him to harness all that talent.
It's got to be time for a breaking ball, doesn't it? His first batter of the game, he threw some good breaking balls to Mookie Betts.
Inside.
You know what that will do also is get his hand on top of the ball just a little bit more. That fastball, you see it running on him. Up and into right-handers and up and away from left-handers. That's just getting the hand on top of the baseball and getting it out front.
Pablo Sandoval is on deck. Blue Jays lead it 3-0. He struck him out. 96 with the fastball. First strikeout of the night.
And that's why you get so excited when you see pitches like this. That's a two-seam fastball right underneath the bat of Hanley Ramirez at 96.
Small little steps of progression for Sanchez. Pablo Sandoval is a switch hitter, batting left-handed, of course. That ran inside off the plate. Sanchez has actually pitched pretty well in these situations with nobody on. They're hitting .333. Once he gets runners on, he really buckles down, and runners are 2 outs, just 200. (3-0). You can't really imagine Sandoval would be swinging 3-0 given the control problems that Sanchez is having. He's walked through this inning.
And I don't think he's trying to pitch around Pablo Sandoval with first base open. Not when you've had some control problems.
He got the green light and he hammered it. That's going to score 2. Pompey plays it off the wall beautifully, and Sandoval indeed got the green light, and he hit a line drive off the wall in left.
You know what? You got to give run producers the green light. In this ballpark, let him swing. It's early. He pops it up. He's still got 8 innings to get after him. But he might get one to his liking, and it's a fastball. It's out, and up over the plate. And a good hitter, Pablo Sandoval, he knows what to do with that.
This is like a heavyweight boxing match when these two lineups go toe-to-toe. Daniel Nava not hitting as a switch hitter any longer. He is exclusively from the left side. (3-2) ball game. I was thinking, why me? I get up here, you've been all over the place, you walk the first 2, and now you paint the black inside and out.
First 2 pitches, find yourself in a hole. Look at those 2 pitches right there. Why can't it be 2-0? Finish them off right here.
Breaking ball, tapped foul. There's so much information available to baseball teams, to fans, to media. I mean, everything is scrutinized and analyzed, and you just gotta be patient with these young players, be it pitchers or position players. Sanchez strikes out Nava. 2 strikeouts in the innings, 2 walks in the innings, but he gives up 2 runs on 2 hits, and it's a 3-2 Jays lead.
Presented by the 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
It's a great statue of the great Ted Williams outside Fenway Park, putting a hat on a young fan, and there are several beautiful statues on the outside of Fenway Park. They've done a terrific job upgrading this old ballpark. It opened up in 1912. This is Kevin Pillar, the number 8 hitter in Blue Jays lineup. Well, both pitchers struggled in the first. Kind of figured it'd be a game like this.
Yeah, both of them struggling, both of them to find their command and control. That first inning might be a mulligan for each of the starters. See if they can get into their groove. What you don't want to do is start helping out the pitcher when he's struggling to find his control. And Kevin right there, Pillar, just a little bit too anxious off of Joe Kelly.
Kevin was 0 for 10 in the Tampa Bay series. Fights that one off. Pillar got off to a good start this year with the bat. He was using the opposite field, staying back, not really trying to do too much. And lately he's been a little bit of a tailspin. He's hit well in this ballpark. He's 8 for 24 with a homer here at Fenway.
Looks like he's just creeping out there a little bit too quickly to get that swing started.
Breaking ball on the corner. Pillar strikes out, one out here in the second.
Pretty good breaking ball right there from Joe Kelly. He has a good hard breaking ball. This time he puts it in a good spot. Hannigan holds it there for the home plate umpire to call.
Dalton Pompey batting 9. You can see Sandoval in on the grass guarding against the bunt, and word gets around quickly. We mentioned Pompey has made some adjustments in his batting stance. Moved his hands a little bit closer to his back shoulder and just trying to get some rhythm and movement flowing with those hands.
You might not see the results right away, but hit a double yesterday off of Chris Archer, which is a good sign. You want to get some kind of movement. I think in any athletic endeavor, you always have to go back before you go forward. And for Dalton, it was a matter of getting some timing with those hands. Make sure that they go back before they go forward to start the swing.
A couple of strikeouts for Kelly here in the second.
On Tuesday, May the 5th, the Yankees visit Rogers Center and it's Connect with the Jays night presented by Honda. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays and one TO Come Together t-shirt. Go to BlueJays.com for more. Buck.
Thank you, Barry. 2 outs here. We're back to the top of the order. Jose Reyes got it started with a single. Reyes singled to left field and scored from second after stealing second base. Scored on the RBI base hit of Devin Travis.
Couple of good pitches right there from Kelly. Jose from the right side likes that ball in where he could try and pull the ball. So teams have been keeping the ball away from him. Watch Hannigan. Look how far he sets up on the side.
That's really interesting, and we have talked about catchers' targets from time to time, and sometimes you get a little over-exaggerated. You sit off the plate too far.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like too far off the pitcher. That's what he's going for. He's going for that glove. That glove is actually off the plate.
Reyes gets a piece of it and reached for that side again. Absolutely, he did. That has been the problem, and Reyes continues to have problems with it, and it looks like he felt it significantly when he reached for that outside pitch.
Outside pitch again. That's where they have been playing and pitching him. Away. They're doing him a favor coming in.
he gets a piece of it. This is the same reaction we saw when he hurt that rib initially in Baltimore on the Friday night opener. And he's disappointed. He said the rib hasn't gotten any better, but it hasn't gotten any worse. And John Gibbons is concerned. I think Reyes is more upset about his side than he is the strikeout. Kelly strikes out the side in the second.
Tonight wasn't made till about an hour before the game, but Bautista knew for a while that he was well enough to play. Early in the afternoon, when John Gibbons was having his meeting with the media, he burst into the office saying, "Gibby, I need to talk to you soon." Well, he still had to take batting practice, and afterwards it was determined he was good to go. He says right now he doesn't feel any pain when he's swinging the bat. He still cannot throw the ball, though. He has not picked one up to throw yet. He had a glove on his right hand today during batting practice and says it's going to be quite a while still before he can actually throw. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. That's unfortunate, but at least they have his presence in the lineup. This is Brock Holt. And as Pat mentioned, he's played 6 different positions so far. Boy, what an asset to have a versatile player like Holt on your roster.
Center field, left field, right field, shortstop, third base, and second base. Those are the 6 positions that he has started for John Farrell. They're only carrying 3 bench players. They've elected to carry a few more relievers because their starters have been struggling. So the Red Sox only have 3 players, 3 on their bench.
Now, John Farrell knows that when you don't get a starter going deep, you're going to need those extra arms in your bullpen. There's strike 3 right down the middle. Third strikeout for Sanchez. Strikes out Holt to start the second.
Well, maybe he can start zeroing in like Joe Kelly did. There's that good fastball, the comeback, swing back fastball. Looked like it was cutting inside and then dove over the middle of the plate for the out.
This is Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts, the shortstop. He's another good-looking young player. Bogaerts broke out of the box. I don't think it hit him. And the umpire, now he's getting some help from Doug Eddings down at first base, the first base umpire. The ball was tapped at home plate. Russell Martin played it as if he didn't think there was any contact with the batter. But Bogaerts stopped immediately once that ball came up and hit him.
First reaction is to run out of the box and then say, oh, wait a minute, that ball hit me. Hit behind him, and it looked like it might have scraped his ankle.
The way this game has started, if you're Russell Martin, you're going to take advantage of every out you can get. If it's a little tapper in front of home, jump on it.
he took advantage of that caught stealing. Saved him a run so far.
I got to tell you, that's one of the best throws I've seen in the last 10, 15 years. Where the throw was down to his right side, and then to throw it like he did. Donaldson's got a weight on it. He's got a strong arm. Good stretch by Encarnacion, and Bogaerts is retired. 2 down.
The DIY Expert Sale, only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Beautiful shot of beautiful Fenway Park as it's all lit up, and still twilight here, but the lights have taken effect inside the ballpark. This is Ryan Hannigan, the catcher. Hannigan is from Andover, Mass, about 25 miles northwest of Boston. Hannigan had an interesting winter. He was moved around a couple of times. He was traded twice in the same day.
Now, see, I thought you were talking about he lives in Andover. He was shoveling snow a lot. An interesting winter.
That is an interesting winter. Of course, down here they had more snow than they ever wanted to deal with.
But you were talking about baseball.
Yeah, he went from the Rays to the Padres, and then from San Diego to Boston. Russell Martin is sitting in the middle of the plate, and obviously we have talked about the difference between Martin and Hannigan and the way they're giving those targets.
Look where the glove is. It's right there.
That took a while, but Russell Martin held it for the home plate umpire, Adam Ramari, who had a good look at it and thought about it and said, you know what? That is strike 3. 3 up, 3 down for Sanchez. He throws the good fastball, and the umpire calls him out.
The Roberto Alomar Friends Charity Home Run Challenge Series. The alumni-led hitting drills and home run challenge series visiting Toronto May 7th and in London June 23rd. Register at bluejays.com/home run challenge. And guys, our Twitter question tonight comes regarding the late Jim Fanning, and it comes from Graph Attack. He wants to, guys, if you can, discuss the impact that Jim Fanning had on the game of baseball.
That's a great question, Barry, and of course the late Jim Fanning was the first GM of the Montreal Expos, and Richard Griffin wrote a great story today about the impact Jim Fanning had on baseball. Certainly opened it up to the fans in Quebec. They became Montreal Expo fans, and he became the manager, actually managed 81 and 82, and then came back for a little stint in 84. But I think he was such a great ambassador for baseball that got everybody's attention. How about this one? Devin Travis, his first home run at Fenway, sails over the green monster seats, and Travis is 2 for 2 already in his first game at Fenway Park.
Single to right field, and then a line drive out of here on an 0-2 pitch from Joe Kelly. And we have started to see this from Devin, where people try to throw fastballs by him, and if they miss their spot, he is so quick on the inner half. He just turns on that ball and sends it out of here. Same type of swing that we saw in Tampa when he homered down there. Not a good 0-2 pitch from Joe Kelly. They wanted it away. You can see Hannigan how he has to reach back over the plate, and Devin how quick he is to get to that ball.
Yeah, anything down and away obviously is very difficult. But they missed their spot dramatically, and the catcher knew it immediately as this ball is high and deep into the green monster seats. Home run number 6 for Devin Travis. Joe Kelly had a rough first inning. Gave up 3 runs on 3 hits. Travis had the first RBI of the game with a single to right. Now he's got a home run to left. That's how you spread the defense out.
Wow. With power. That's the thing that has really amazed me about that youngster. We knew he could hit. Everybody says he was a good hitter and that he uses the whole field, but the way the ball is coming off of his bat.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because there's a natural comparison in this series, of course, and that's the 2 second basemen. You look at Devin Travis and Dustin Pedroia. Similar in stature.
Both college players.
We're not ready to put Travis in Pedroia's spot yet. Dustin Pedroia has been Rookie of the Year, MVP. He's played in World Series, an All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover. But certainly there are going to be those comparisons made. Travis played at Florida State. Pedroia played at Arizona State. That's a backup breaking ball, and Donaldson strikes out. That's 5 strikeouts for Joe Kelly.
He got away with one right there. As a hitter, you see that breaking ball starting to back up, hang over the middle of the plate. It just never gets to it. That spot.
Lowest at bat per home run here at Fenway Park. Jose Bautista is the leader of some pretty impressive names. Frank Robinson, Mark McGuire, Jim Thome. And anytime you have fewer than 10 at bats per home run, you're doing some damage.
His own little personal playground it's been over the last few years here. Jose loves hitting in this ballpark. Get on top of the plate, force them to throw you fastballs, and then just lift the ball out of here.
Bautista thought both of those pitches were off the plate.
And he was right. According to Pitch Tracker, those balls were off the plate. As you can see, he's having a word with the home plate umpire, Adam Hamari, what he thought about those pitches.
Doug Eddings at first waving no swing, so it's 2-2 count. Breaking ball, strike 3. Bautista walks away. Another strikeout. That's 6 now for Kelly.
Good breaking ball right there. It's such a long walk here from Fenway Park. If you strike out like that, you can see Bautista is just now getting to the dugout. Nothing you can do about that. He was put in a hole early with those pitches off the plate, and a pretty good breaking ball there.
Edwin Encarnacion popped out his first time up. Now Encarnacion not happy, and that pitch is just off the outside corner, but Kelly's been getting those calls.
You know, you can be upset with the call right there. You just cannot be demonstrative, which we saw right there. You can have your say to the umpire.
And kind of strikes out. Joe Kelly has 7 strikeouts, but the Blue Jays have a 4-2 lead. Devin Travis is 2 for 2 already tonight, including his 6th home run of the season. Travis goes deep into the seats above the Green Monster. He's now has 18 RBIs. It's a 4-2 lead.
Cup playoffs. Go to sportsnet.ca/schedule for matchups, channel listings, and start times. Great game last night between the Habs and the Senators, Buck.
Absolutely. Lots of great action in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Look out. Up and in, Mookie Betts ducks out of the way of that first pitch fastball. Aaron Sanchez retired the side in order in the second. And you can see that one gets away from him and passes right past his helmet.
There were all the problems that we had with Baltimore in the series back at Rogers Center, where Aaron, he knew all about that. He was trying to throw a ball down and away to the right hand, the first batter of the game. Remember that? And then it came up and in. Said, that's the problem that I'm having. I just cannot get that release point early in a ball game and find it and then keep it. He was actually trying to throw that ball down and away, if you remember.
That was Caleb Joseph, and Joseph was the root of some of the antics between the two teams from last season. There's another strike. This is what's really uncomfortable about facing Aaron Sanchez. First, he throws hard. Secondly, he's got a lot of movement, and he's not sure where it's going. And Mookie Betts strikes out. He comes all the way back to strike him out. Sanchez has 5 strikeouts.
Got to somehow figure out a way to get the Red Sox into a swing mode. If you do that, the stuff will play. And they are a very patient team. And they see the most amount of pitches per at bat in baseball. Over 4 pitches per at bat. And I like what Russell Martin has done starting in that second inning. He is set up right behind the plate. On every pitch, he's not moving.
Yeah, and this is something they've talked about for the last couple of starts with Sanchez and Hutchison both. Pedroia hits it a mile high, and Pilar didn't see it for a moment. He's got it now. It's still twilight here, and once that ball gets up near the lights, it will disappear on you. And he lost it for a minute, but stayed in the same area and focused on where he expected it would be, and it came out.
Get it up above those lights, and then you can pick it back up again.
There are 2 outs now, and this is David Ortiz. He doubled and scored in the first. You can see Ortiz is late on that pitch, and Pat's made a great point. The stuff is there. Just a matter of refining it. And, you know, everybody's got to back off these kids a little bit and be patient with them. That's a pretty good pitch. That's the pitch that Bautista was upset about. Same for Encarnacion.
I asked Aaron about his curveball, and it's a good curveball. And I said, is there a key for you, what you're trying to hone in on? I said, I got to make sure my head stays still when I throw my curveball. I tend to overthrow it, my head starts tilting, and my arm slows down.
Ortiz hits it hard. Michael Saunders makes the catch about knee high. And Sanchez has settled things down. He's retired 7 straight. Canadian will lead things off on a night when hockey is front and center. Stanley Cup playoffs ongoing. Lots of great series going on right now. Russell Martin had a 2-run double his first time up, and a terrific at bat against Joe Kelly. He is now 4 for 7 against Kelly, and he's hit a home run. I tell you what, maybe the biggest play of the game so far was that caught stealing. It helped Aaron Sanchez minimize the damage in that first inning. He threw out Mookie Betts with one of the best throws you'll ever see.
That could have been a real ugly inning for the Blue Jays. A walk and then a caught stealing, then another walk right behind it, and then a double. That could have been really bad, but gave up just those 2 runs. Thanks to Russell Martin.
Russell's caught more base stealers than any catcher in baseball. Caught 8. Here he'll take ball 4. Leadoff walk for Russell Martin here in the 4th.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
Fenway Park, they've done a great job of revitalizing this wonderful organization, and the John Henry Group came in here and turned things around. They went through 10 straight years of stadium renovations. Now it's become a destination. There are people that aren't even baseball fans that come here to Fenway Park.
People calling all the time, can I get tickets to the game? I need to see Fenway Park. They're doing the same
ball
thing.
And a snap throw to first.
Doing the same thing in Chicago, aren't they?
Wrigley Field.
Redoing that. Theo Epstein was here and started the renovation here. Now in Chicago. It's a great ballpark.
It's one of my favorites, and it just takes you back to the old days of outdoor baseball, fans sitting bundled up here on a cool night in April. Michael Saunders with a 1-ball count. Now it's 2-0. Saunders, of course, had that knee injury before spring training began down in Dunedin, Florida. And he was devastated when he found out he would have to undergo surgery, but the surgery turned out to be the best possibility as he was able to come back. They originally said he would be out to the All-Star break if they had to repair the cartilage, but they removed the piece of the cartilage, and he is back and playing in the big leagues.
And it's that back leg. You can see that push-off leg. Hitters need your legs underneath you to get any type of power, any kind of push from the bottom half. For Michael, this is almost like spring training starting over. So Blue Jays have to give him time and some consistent at-bats so he can get his timing down.
It is like spring training. He is behind the curve, that's for sure. 2-1 with Martin at first. Breaking ball now 3-1. Kevin Pillar is on deck. Ball 4, back-to-back walks. That's how the Jays start the 4th. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Kansas City still playing good baseball. They have dropped a half a game behind the Tigers. That's a good team. Everybody wanted to write them off when they lost James Shields and had some of their players move on. They brought in Alex Rios, who's currently on the disabled list, and Kendrys Morales to
it's amazing.
Take over for Billy Butler.
When you win, what it does for your psyche as a team, as an organization, as players, you expect to win and you figure out ways to win.
Once you get that taste of playoff baseball, you want to do it again. This is Pillar. The Red Sox are looking for a bunt. He squares the bunt and bunts it up the third baseline. It's a good one, but it goes foul. You don't have to be perfect with a sacrifice bunt. You just have to get it near the line, not on that foul line. But Sandoval was aware of this whole ballpark of his that the ball was going to go into foul ground.
Well, if you bunt again, first and second, you want to make that third baseman field the ball. So he leaves third base open for the runners.
Catcher.
They are really expecting the bunt now. Daniel Nava is hard charging over there at first base. We've seen John Gibbons take the bunt off in these situations.
He squares early and jabs at it. Certainly not very comfortable. This is the problem you have in this day and age when you have young players like Pillar. Pillar always hit third in the lineup in the minor leagues. So in the minor leagues, you're not going to ask him to bunt. I think organizationally, and it's universal in baseball, you should just insist on the players, no matter where they are, that they learn how to bunt.
Well, they practice it every single day, but it's just not the same in a game.
That is Stephen Wright, who has just been called up from AAA Pawtucket, and he's a knuckleball pitcher. He's loosening up down in the Red Sox bullpen. Blue Jays had 3 sacrifice bunts, but with 2 strikes, you don't expect Pillar to continue. Boy, you're right about Kevin. It looks like he's running out there to hit that baseball. Early in the season, he was really trusting his hands and kept his body very quiet.
Staying back and using his hands, and now it's just like he's drifting out towards the pitcher's mound, leaving all his power off that backside.
Base hit to left field past Sandoval. They're waving the runner around. Russell Martin's going to score, and Pillar comes up with a big 2-strike RBI base hit.
Can't get the bunt down. That's okay. Just a single into left field. Hanging breaking ball. Another 2-strike mistake from Joe Kelly. Breaking ball right there where Parlar can handle it. Hammers it by the third baseman. That's Pablo Sandoval. That'll allow Martin to score. Now we've got the same situation now, a bunting situation.
Pompey, switch hitter batting left-handed against Kelly. He squares to bunt and bunts it in the air, and Sandoval's going to dive and makes the catch. So Sandoval may have knocked the wind out of himself diving for that ball. He was in on the grass to begin with, and Gibbons asked both Pilar and Pompey to bunt, and Pompey pops out.
Just got to get it down. Rising fastball. You want to get that bat out in front and get it at a 45-degree angle. You don't want that barrel of the bat dropping below the baseball like that. That'll pop it up. It's exactly what happened right there. Get it out in front, and if you keep it at that 45-degree angle, the ball's got to go down. That time it popped up.
Reyes hits a ground ball. Bogart steps on second, throws to first, and the double play ends the inning. So the Blue Jays get a pair of walks and a base hit to manage just one run. It's a 5-2 Jays lead.
Join us for Mother's Day at the ballpark. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Josh Donaldson white replica jersey. Go to BlueJays.com for more. Would that be a good gift for Mom, Puck, you think?
No, I think you better do better than that, Barry.
Okay.
That free jersey is not going to make too many points for you.
Jersey and some flowers, maybe.
Yeah, keep going. Maybe a nice dinner.
Now you're pushing it.
Blue Jays take a 3-run lead into the bottom of the fourth. Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez started in this Red Sox organization. He was signed as an amateur free agent. They did a pretty good job of putting together a great organization. Had a lot of good young players.
They might end up trading them all to get some established veterans.
Ramirez was traded to the Florida Marlins at the time for a fellow named Josh Beckett. And they also threw in a veteran named Mike Lowell. Well, Lowell proved to be a key part of that World Series run. Hanley Ramirez, of course, became the National League Rookie of the Year after that trade.
Wasn't Anibal Sanchez in that trade also, going from Boston down to Florida?
He was.
Whew.
Yeah, that was a good trade for both teams at the time, and they were able to really develop both of those teams into World Series type teams. Ramirez won a batting title in the National League as well. He strikes out for a second time. And Sanchez settling in a little bit.
Using the breaking ball. And that's a good sign. He's got a good curveball tonight. Let's see if Russell Martin, if he starts to feel a little bit more confident using the fastball, that he starts working in the curveball a little bit more now.
Everything is built off of the fastball. You throw the fastball, it makes the hitters think they've got a swing. And then that's when the breaking ball becomes most effective. That's a slider. 87 miles an hour. Boy, it's an impressive set of tools that Sanchez has. Sandoval had a 2-run double on a 3-0 pitch his first time up.
Do you know what? Watching Aaron Sanchez work, do you know who he kind of reminds me of? A pitcher a couple of years ago. Chris Archer. Remember when Chris Archer first started in this league? A lot of pitches all over the strike zone. He did not have the fastball command, but you could see his stuff was really good. That if he ever figured it out, he was going to be some kind of pitcher. Well, Chris Archer has figured it out, and it's taken him about 3 years.
Yeah, that's what it takes.
Something like
you have to be patient. Daniel Nava is on deck. That is drilled to right field. Saunders watches this one sail into the bullpen. Pablo Sandoval, 2 for 2. Solo shot into the Blue Jays bullpen in right. That's just his second home run of the season.
And his first home run yesterday in the game down in Baltimore. So he might be showing signs of starting to get the power stroke going once again. He hits from both sides of the plate. He's got power, obviously. This time, leg kick, high fastball, and he gets on top of it. Turns on. That's a line drive. Out of here.
Sanchez comes right back with the strike to Nava. Sandoval 2 for 2 with 3 ribbies. He's driven in all 3 Red Sox runs so far. He's starting to heat up. Breaking ball. Encarnacion will go to the bag. 2 down.
The championship-winning Honda CRF 450R for those who dare to ride red.
Fenway Park, there's some of the renovations we were talking about. They've opened up a great food court out in right field. Lots of great selections for the fans here.
You like my assessment about Sanchez and Chris Archer?
Absolutely. With 2 outs here in the 4th, Aaron has thrown a total of 50 2/3 big league innings. So, you know, the upside, and Pete Walker, the pitching coach, he knows that. He knows what he's got. This is a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, and it's going to take some time to get that fastball command, but once you do, like the Blue Jays have seen it a couple times this year from Archer, it's almost unhittable stuff.
The hardest thing to find in this day and age as a baseball team is an ace. And if you have to pay for it, as we've seen with Kershaw and Scherzer and Price, it's going to cost you a couple $100 million. So why not be patient and develop your own? See how many aces you can come up with.
You know, and if you have to pay for those aces, you might get 2 or 3 years out of them. And then the back end of the contract, you're just paying for what they did in the past.
Plus, you create an air of competition. That's a breaking ball lifted to left. Pompey over near the foul line, and it's a foul ball. That's why this left field is so difficult to play, even for veteran outfielders. We saw Hanley Ramirez earlier dealing with that overhead door, and that ball right up against the wall. There's only about 3 feet between the foul line and the wall down there in left field.
Not a lot of room if you go barreling up the foul territory to try and catch that ball. And it's hard to, you've seen outfielders slide and try and make that catch. That wall is hard.
There's some padding down there, but you can see all of the different nooks and crannies. The corner gets down there. Underneath that padding is concrete, so when that ball hits underneath the padding, it really bounces around and can bounce anywhere. Ground ball, big hop for the second baseman, Devin Travis. 3 up, 3 down, 11 straight retired by Aaron Sanchez as he settles in. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.
West Showdown. It's the Giants taking on the Dodgers tonight on Sportsnet 1, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. Buck?
Barry, there's nothing like a Dodger-Giant game, no matter what the standings are. Right now, the Dodgers are 11-7. They have a game lead in the NL West. San Francisco at 8-11. But both of those teams, they play spirited baseball whenever they hook up.
How about the Kershaw-Bumgarner game the other day?
Yeah. They have matchups like that. They're always intense. This is Devin Travis, who had his hit streak snapped yesterday and didn't like it. So far tonight, he's 0 for 2. RBI single, solo home run. Travis batting .379 with 6 homers and 18 RBIs.
They have an award for Rookie of the Month.
Yes, they do. They have American League Rookie of the Month. They'll have a Rookie Pitcher of the Month, and they'll have National League awards for those 2 categories as well.
Can we vote for it?
I don't think we need to.
This guy gets my vote.
Yeah, he's had a terrific start to his young career. He is 4th in the American League in home runs. He is tied now with Mark Teixeira and Adam Jones with 18 RBIs. They're 2 behind the leader, Nelson Cruz. Total bases, he's got 5 tonight. That gives him 49 total bases. And here's his home run early.
4 of them right here on this pitch. It's an 0-2 pitch. He yanks it out of here. Just get it up in the air. You got a chance for extra bases.
There's that breaking ball, and Travis strikes out. That's 8 strikeouts for Joe Kelly. That matches his career high.
Wicked slider. You can see it looks like a fastball. It looks like it's going to start on the outside part of the plate and then just bends into the left-hander's batter's box. Pretty good slider there.
Josh Donaldson has walked in, struck out. That's a good slider. That's as good as that slider we saw yesterday from Chris Archer.
It's sharp. It's hard. Out of his hands, it looks like a fastball. But then the tight spin on that ball as it makes its way towards home plate, it just takes a left-hand turn. And it's hard. As a hitter, you think it's a fastball.
We mentioned Joe Kelly tied his career high with 8 strikeouts, striking out Kevin Travis. Previous 8 strikeout game came last April 5th, or excuse me, last April 11th this month. So he's had 2 8 strikeout games this season. Struck out 8 Yankees. 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, a couple of walks and 8 strikeouts in that game against New York.
That was the good one. Then a decent one against Baltimore his next time out, and then a so-so game in his last start versus Tampa Bay.
That's a new career high for Joe Kelly. 2 strikeouts. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Alex Gordon made a terrific catch in Chicago, the one Jamie was talking about, into foul ground, and he jumped 2 rows into the seats to make a catch on a foul ball. It even impressed Hawk Harrelson. But it was a terrific catch by the Gold Glover, and he has become a star. Jose Bautista back in the lineup after missing 5 games with a shoulder problem. Barry Davis reported to us that Jose doesn't think he's close to playing in the outfield because of that shoulder. And it's good to have his presence back in the lineup.
That's okay. If you're John Gibbons, that's okay. Just get that bat in the lineup. Make everybody around the bat. Everybody fits in their slot then when he's in the lineup.
Jose has a good eye at the plate, and you can see that pitch was called a strike, and he's not in agreement with the home plate umpire. They're going to go right there again. Why wouldn't you? Bautista has to go after it, and Kelly steps on the bag. Another 1, 2, 3 inning for Joe Kelly. 9 strikeouts, a career high for Joe Kelly.
Stanley Cup playoffs and Toronto Blue Jays. Shop tsc.ca. Buck, after the last break, we were mentioning the Dodgers-Giants game tonight. Well, the Dodgers just placed Brandon McCarthy on the DL with a UCL strain, and there's word that he may be going under for Tommy John surgery.
Well, that's bad news, and the Dodgers just put Yasiel Puig on the disabled list with a hamstring injury, and they're dropping like flies all around baseball.
How about the Dodgers? All the pitching that they have, they might have to go out and get another one.
Yeah, and Jin Ryu is on the list. He's on the DL, left-handed starter. Then Bogarts grounded out to third base for his first time. That's a good fastball.
Every now and then, Aaron will still get underneath that ball after the first inning, and that ball will rise on him. Says he just has to stay on top of that baseball. I don't want to spin. I want to go forward towards home plate. Nice.
One down, 7 strikeouts for Sanchez.
The DIY Expert Sale, only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Aaron Sanchez has a new strikeout career high, 7. His previous high was 4. He got 7 tonight. He walked the first 2 batters of the game and has really settled down. Russell Martin's doing another terrific job with him. You know, there are subtle turning points to an inning, a game, and sometimes even a career. And I look back at Russell Martin throwing out Mookie Betts in the first inning as maybe the play of this game.
Could have got ugly.
It settled them down. He got an out after walking the first 2. And Martin threw a seed to second base and nailed Mookie Betts. Threw him out for the first time. Betts was 5 for 5 before Martin threw him out. That's why he's got that gold Rawlings label on his chest protector. He's a gold glove catcher. Big acquisition for the Blue Jays, signing Russell Martin. Off the glove, Sanchez will go behind second and recovers in time to make the play. All these Blue Jays starters are very athletic, and Sanchez got a glove on it, knocked it down, and then he was the only guy that had a chance to throw out Hannigan.
And he had the right guy running also, in the catcher Hannigan, right back through the middle. He gloves it, knocks it down, and makes a nice play. I like where he right there, he just took his time and made a good throw over to first base. Actually fell down after that throw, but he slowed his body down once he got to the baseball and made an accurate throw.
Mookie Betts, the first pitch strike for Sanchez. Betts walked, as we mentioned, in the first and then was thrown out by Russell Martin. He struck out in the third. We saw dramatic improvement in Daniel Norris in his last start down in Tampa Bay. Boy, that was a good delivery. Took his time. Norris went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, and was in line for the win. 108 pitches over that 7-inning stint. Breaking ball, tapped foul.
And you're going to see that. I think throughout the course of the year, if all these young pitchers are here, you're going to see the ups and you're going to see the downs. If you can just get that line moving in an arc going up, you don't need to see just those crazy ups and downs and things like that. I don't even know. But we're seeing over now, what is this, their 4th start of the season? Norris and now Sanchez, we're seeing improvement. We're seeing a little bit better command, a little bit better breaking ball, pitching just a little bit more. They're doing their work in between starts.
That's going to be an extra base hit. That hits on the warning track Mookie Betts, who's headed for second. As he got the pitch off the end of the bat, it may have been a changeup. Looked like an off-speed pitch. He was protecting the plate.
It was something off speed. Let's see, from Aaron. Slider. And it stayed out over the plate. He hasn't thrown many sliders. His curveball's been very good, but that slider, Betts keeps those hands back. Pops it down the left field line for extra bases. He's an exciting player, too.
He's just 22. This is Dustin Pedroia. Cuts on the first pitch. Pedroia walked and scored in the first, popped out in the third. We're in the bottom of the fifth. The Blue Jays have a 5-3 lead. Been 2 home runs in the game. Devin Travis hit his 6th for the Blue Jays in the third inning. Pablo Sandoval, who's 2 for 2, he hit his 2nd in the 4th inning. Pedroia with a mighty cut.
Oh, he'll do that. He will not get cheated at that plate. Now you got to make a pitch. Right here, you've got David Ortiz on deck. Aaron Loup has started to throw in that bullpen. You want to get him right here so you can get your 5 innings in.
One and two. There's Aaron Loup loosening up. Sanchez has thrown 98 pitches. Chopped off home plate. Sanchez waits for it, takes his time, throws it away. He threw it right into the camera well beyond first, and Pedroia will go to second. Betts comes in to score. And Pedroia put the pressure on Sanchez, as he always does, running 100% up the first base line.
It looked like Aaron had a little bit of trouble trying to get that ball cleanly out of his glove. He's got time to high ball off the off the plate, and then you can see as he went into the glove, he just didn't have the right grip and heaved it into the stands. 1 run will score, and there'll be another runner at scoring position. And that brings Pete Walker to the mound quickly. Couple of balls,
base hit for Pedroia.
A couple of balls that haven't been hit very hard this inning. The ball by Betts wasn't hit that hard. It looked like it was more off the end of the bat. But he got it down the left field line, then this infield hit.
David Ortiz has hit the ball hard twice against Sanchez. He doubled to left in the first inning. And then he lined out to right in the third. He's been on Sanchez in his 2 at-bats. Pedroia's at second. He's there on the air by Sanchez. Reyes from the edge of the grass takes his time. He's got a strong arm, and he robs Ortiz of an RBI and a single. So Sanchez is through 5 innings. That might be it for him, but he walks off the mound at Fenway with a 5-4 lead. Edwin Encarnacion is batting .329 over his last 20 games here at Fenway. He'll lead things off when we come back. against Joe Kelly. The Red Sox have made it a 5-4 game. Alan Craig has come off the bench to play first. Brock Holt is at third, and Daniel Nava, the first baseman, moves out to right. Sandoval is out of the game. Remember, Pablo Sandoval dove for a bunt in the fourth inning. Popped up bunt by Dalton Pompey. Hit the ground hard. We don't know if that's the reason he's out of the game, but he has left the game.
It's the only thing we can think of. Looked like he got shaken up just a little bit when he hit the ground.
I hope he is okay, but I'm glad he's out of the game.
He can hit.
2-1 to Encarnacion. Count is even.
Well, here's the play that we were talking about. Dalton Pompey pops this ball up with runners on first and second. Sandoval grabs it on the dive, and then he was slow getting up after that play. Not sure what's wrong.
But Droyer was playing up the middle. He is there, takes the backhand, and throws Encarnacion out and down.
But you're right. That bat of Sandoval already 2 for 2 with a home run.
He homered in yesterday's game for the Sox in Baltimore, and it's a good sign he's starting to heat up. John Fell now has a very thin bench to begin with. Alan Craig is off the bench, so he has just two players, the catcher Sandy Leon and Mike Napoli. Russell Martin's had a good day at the plate. 2-run double in the first. He walked and scored in the fourth.
Nice little comeback here for Joe Kelly. If you ask me, first inning, he did not have 33 pitches in the first inning.
Little tapper. Joe Kelly slips and still gets enough on the throw. Athletic play by Joe Kelly. 2 down.
The championship-winning Honda CRF 450R for those who dare to ride red.
Welcome back to Boston. The first of 3 against the Red Sox. We are at Fenway Park, and the Blue Jays have a 5-4 lead. Michael Saunders looking for his first base hit of the season. Both starters really struggled in the first inning. Joe Kelly threw 33 pitches in the first. Aaron Sanchez threw 31.
Both of them had nice comebacks tonight to get their teams into the 6th inning. Kelly especially is zeroed in with that curveball. Career high in strikeouts.
Both pitchers tonight have established new career high in strikeouts. Kelly has 9. Sanchez has struck out 7 through 5 innings. Off-speed pitch, and that's 10 strikeouts for Joe Kelly. He is through 6. His club trails by a run. Aaron Luke looks like he's headed into this game. this point. 5 innings, 5 hits. He walked the first 2 batters of the game, but he has really settled down. 7 strikeout. That's a career high for Sanchez. He's thrown 100 pitches, but the first batter he is facing here in the 6th is Hanley Ramirez, and Ramirez has struck out twice against Sanchez.
Yeah, push him just a little bit further. Those 2 walks, those are the only walks that he has had in this ball game. You got Ramirez, and then Craig, and then Nava. So John Gibbons is going to push his young right-hander a little bit further. I like this. You can see Hanley Ramirez doesn't look real comfortable.
No. John Gibbons likes the result he's gotten Sanchez against Ramirez, so why not start the inning? And I love that. They pushed him beyond 100 pitches. Obviously, there's nothing to indicate any kind of fatigue whatsoever from Sanchez. Let him go.
It's a cool night. You're not going to wear down.
It's a 1-run game. Hanley Ramirez, we mentioned he started out his career in the Red Sox organization. He was part of that big trade with the Florida Marlins, 2005. He played alongside of Dustin Pedroia in 2005 in Double-A.
What a team they put together there, huh?
Little tapper, that's a fair ball. Russell Martin will go to first, and Ramirez is 0 for 3 against Sanchez. So now this is the spot where Sandoval was batting. And Sandoval left the game. We've been informed he left the game with neck soreness. And remember, he hit the ground hard feeling that bunt pop-up. So Alan Craig entered the game defensively at first base. He's now batting in the 5th spot in the order.
Still thrown hard. 93. This is what happens when you start to corral that good stuff.
Wow. Good breaking ball, and Eddings down at first. Edding went around. Well, this is another thing I think that's important. These young pitchers never get a chance to get fatigued and pitch with a little fatigue. That'll give you a little more movement, and you won't have all that adrenaline flowing. And you probably will find out some things about yourself as a pitcher.
I think
throw 110, 115
I think
pitches.
Daniel Norris is a good example of that. He was talking about dead arm. His best game was his last game.
Oh, what a play by Donaldson. Now throw him out, and he does. Josh Donaldson dove to his left, gloved it, and then took his time and fired a strike across the diamond. Fine defensive play by Donaldson. And John Gibbons, the skipper, has come out. One more look at the third baseman.
How about the range from Josh Donaldson? That was like 3 or 4 big steps in the emotion as he gloves it and then comes up firing. And he holds on to it over there with a good step. And you don't think that fires up a young player? What a night for Aaron Sanchez.
Sanchez in line for the win. He'll turn things over to Aaron Luke with 2 outs here in the 6th. Daniel Nava will bat against Luke when we come back to Fenway. Blue Jays baseball partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership. We're at Fenway Park. Aaron Loup in to face Daniel Nava. And he throws a first pitch strike.
John Gibbons likes those left-on-left matchups. Aaron Loup pitched just in yesterday's ball game. Struck out the side in Tampa when he came into that game. That was in the the 8th inning.
Broken bat goes off Loop's glove. There's Donaldson right behind him. He makes another fine play. Loop got a glove on it, knocked it down. Donaldson never gave up on the play. He was standing right there to take the little chopper, bare hands it, and fires across the diamond. There's the contact off the glove of the pitcher. Donaldson said, "I have it," and made 2 good plays in the inning. Alexi Ogando, big right-hander. We've seen him a lot from Texas and signed originally with the Oakland Athletics, but was taken in a Rule 5 draft by the Rangers.
We've seen him out of the bullpen. We've also seen him out as a starter. He's now in the bullpen again, firing blanks up there. 7 1/3 innings. He's 1-0 this season. He hasn't given up a hit over his last 14 batters. Hard fastball, hard breaking ball. And when you're a 1-inning guy or a 2-inning guy, much different than when you were a starter, when you had to navigate 3 times through the lineup. He can come out and just throw it as hard as he can. It's obviously working for him.
95, but down and away. Kevin Pillar had a big hit back in the 4th inning. He drove in the 5th run of the game. That stands as the go-ahead run right now. They're hit 5-4, and Pillar was asked to bunt, couldn't get the bunt down, but got a 2-strike base hit.
Dondo's been tough on the right-handers this season. He's only given up 3 hits to right-handed batters. He's got a pretty good breaking ball that he'll use at 2 strikes.
There's that breaking ball lifted to left. Hanley Ramirez looking up. The ball is off the wall. Pillar is headed for second, and he'll get there standing up. Pillar hit it high off that green monster, and has a leadoff double.
That's why the right-handers love it here at Fenway Park. You just have to catch that ball out in front, and Kevin does right here. Slider, he went to it with 2 strikes. You can see Hannigan, he wants that ball away. It's back over the middle of the plate. Pilar stays back just long enough, keeps the hands back, and then drives that ball off the monster.
That's the second double the Blue Jays have hit here tonight at Fenway, only their 6th hit. This is Dalton Pompey. Let's see if he has to bunt again. Not bunting, and he swings away. It's a high fly ball. That'll move the runner. Pilar is tagging up at second. Nava makes the catch. Pilar gets to third. Dalton does his job. He moves the runner up. They let him swing against the right-hander knowing that he could pull the ball, and he did just that.
Power versus power. And he got that first pitch fastball, and he just missed it. Hit the ball pretty well to right field, but it's a productive at-bat. It's a big run out there for the Blue Jays. Pompey moves Pilar to third.
This might be a situation you don't see the Blue Jays bunt very often, but this could be a time for a squeeze given the problems Reyes is having swinging the bat. 1 out. The inside pitch.
He doesn't have any problem swinging at that pitch inside. When Jose has had to reach for the ball, that's where he's had his problems. It's going to have to be tough. It's going to be a perfect bunt. They got the infield in.
It's all timing. Reyes takes it on the outside corner. The Red Sox pitchers have gotten that low and away strike all night. Reyes has a couple sac bunts. It's a 1-1 count. Big run down there at third.
You can see the home plate umpire telling Reyes he's got to get in the box. The new rule. Jose wasn't happy with that call. Now he's got a battle. He's going to have to somehow get a piece of the ball, get it to the outfield. It does not look like Pilar's getting a big lead at third base, like they're trying to do the contact play.
It's hard to run the contact play when you got Devin Travis on deck. He is so hot with the bat. You don't want to waste that runner at third. You got to make it go through.
Make it go through to make sure that Travis get hit with the runner at third base. And that's why Pilar is staying close to the bag at third base.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Reyes strikes out. 2 down. Now it's time for the drive of the game. It's presented by the 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
I think Devin Travis is going to like hitting at Fenway Park. When you get a pitch like this, just beat it out in front. He's got quick hands. He doesn't stride. He just gets the barrel out in front. That's his 6th home run of the season and tonight's drive of the game.
First pitch fastball. Scored a pair, driven in a pair. He has 18 RBIs for the season. That leads the Blue Jays. Bouncing ball deep, it's short. Bogarts with a strong arm just in time, and they're going to look at it. Tim Leeper, the first base coach, says, I want to look at that one. It was bang bang at first, a run's on the line, so John Gibbons says, I want to challenge that call. Travis hustling out of the box made it bang bang at first. The foot still in the air before it comes down. Looks like he's out.
Boy, that was close. Put that replay right there. John Gibbons is holding up action right here as they find out, and they say no.
Yeah, we could see it on the replay we had. Travis is out, but he made it close at first. It's still a 1-run lead. as we head to the bottom of the seventh.
Spend $200 or more at the J Shop at Eaton Center Level 1. You'll receive a free Dooney and Burke cosmetic bag. Available while supplies last. Buck Pete Walker told me today that he was not going to use either Castro or Osuna tonight unless there's an emergency, but he did work with them a lot throwing off flat ground. How much do you think they've got to really watch the amount of innings these two kids are throwing right now?
Well, Barry, I think that's first and foremost the long-term health of those two youngsters, and you want to make sure that you don't burn them out and overuse them. There's plenty of innings down in that bullpen. We've got Liam Hendricks down there. They've got Marco as starter. Loops into the game. They also have Cecil, of course.
Got to be careful also of getting a guy up and then not using him in the game.
That gets overlooked, but if you don't keep track of how many times you get these youngsters up, warming up, and they don't come into the game, that's just like another appearance. Jeff Francis is down there as well. Hendricks is loosening up, and Brock Holt lines up for third. Josh Donaldson having quite a night defensively at third base. Boy, he's got 3 red stars on the books as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and they're the last 3 plays. Off of Craig, then the one to end the 6th, and then this one. Just keep hitting it to Josh Donaldson. He'll make the play.
Luke retired 2 batters since entering the game. He entered the 6th. Got a ground ball out. Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. First game of the series, you'd like to minimize the number of relievers you have to use. I think John Gibbons and John Farrell both thinking the same way. That's a high pop on the infield. Devin Travis backing up to the outfield grass. Wind blowing it around, but he stays with it. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Adam Ward and Nathan Carnes are pitchers in that game. Tampa Bay off to a great start. Evan Longoria, he got red hot against the Blue Jays. He's got a hit already tonight. He had 7 straight hits
What's
against
new?
the Blue Jays.
What's new for Evan?
He's up to 313. Blue Jays got him right. Hannigan hits it off the end of the bat. Travis from the outfield throws him out. Good inning for Aaron Loop. He minimized the pitches. He's thrown just 10 pitches since coming into the game.
Gateway to the world's best baseball stories. Sign up at nextissue.ca/baseball and get an extended 60-day free trial. Buck.
Thank you very much, Barry. It is a cool night here at Fenway Park. Another good crowd on hand, and they're being entertained by a very good ball game. 5-4, Blue Jays lead it. We're in the 8th inning. The Blue Jays have hit 2 doubles tonight. They have hit doubles in 17 consecutive games. They've hit 38 doubles over those 17 games. It's been a consistent offensive approach. They've failed to double just twice this season. And they had an 8-double game earlier.
We love doubles because it shows that you're hitting the pitch where they throw it. That ball's off the end of the bat for the first out. It also keeps a runner in scoring position, keeps that pitcher in that stretch position. You never clear the bases and start all over or get the feeling like you're starting all over.
Alexio Gando came into the game in the 7th, gave up a double to Kevin Pillar, but stranded the base runner at third. Jose Bautista back in the lineup tonight for the first time after missing 5 games. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. They have worked him away very effectively tonight.
That's what the Yankees did when we were in New York. That's what the Tampa Bay Rays have done. Try to minimize the home run power. And for the Blue Jays, you hope they make a mistake out over the plate. But they just take the ball and just try to just paint that outside corner with the fastball and the slider.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, this is the 17th game the Blue Jays have played against the American League East.
You see Gibby right there saying, let him swing. Right here, 3-0. Turn him loose.
Get him going. Give him a couple of free shots. Not close. Bautista walks. He reaches for the first time tonight.
A whole slew of American League East opponents coming to the Rogers Center in May, starting with the New York Yankees May 4th through 6th, and the Boston Red Sox May 8th through the 10th. Later on in the month, we'll see the Angels, Mariners, and Melky Cabrera making his return to the Rogers Center as the White Sox come in May 25th to 27th. Go to BlueJays.com for tickets. Buck.
Thank you, Barry. Good schedule of ball games on that month of May. Bautista's aboard. Encarnacion has gone 0 for 3 so far. He drives this ball to left center. Hanley Ramirez over in the alley. He stays with it and makes the catch. Remember, Hanley Ramirez playing in the outfield for the first time in his career. He's a natural shortstop. They've got a young shortstop here in Xander Bogaerts. So Hanley Ramirez, they signed him to a big contract. He's going to play somewhere.
Yeah. And he's going to play left field. They've also got a converted second baseman playing center field in Mookie Betts. So there's some communication that has to get worked out. And it'll take some time for the outfielders. They're missing Shane Victorino, who's on the disabled list. He is their best defensive outfielder.
And he is by far the best Red Sox right fielder they've had in a number of years. First pitch strike to Russell Martin. Martin looked back at the umpire and said, that hasn't been a strike for me. Looked like Hannigan got something in his eye. There's Roberto Osuna. I guess this is an emergency. But I tell you what, I think John Gibbons is just trying to get some momentum going for his ball club. Remember, they had a run saved down in Tampa Bay, and when he's got a chance to win, especially against an East rival, he'll take every opportunity he has to wrap it up. We haven't seen Osuna look like he's fatigued at all. I think when you look at Castro, he's been used more than Osuna. Castro's had 10 appearances. Osuna's had 8. Neither one of them throw very many innings. And they've both been efficient. And they're 20.
And they're 20. They should be okay about that. There were some hints in the little scrum that Osuna, depending on the situation, if Castro has thrown a couple of days in a row, that he might be down, and there's some right-handers up, they might finish the game with him, certain games. I think right now, that's what John Gibbons is going to do. He's going to go with the matchups, and he's going to go with the hot hand at the end of the ball game.
Martin covers that outside pitch. It was off the plate, but he had to protect.
He had one of the best at-bats this season. His first time up in the first inning. 10-pitch at-bat against Joe Kelly, fouling off some tough pitches, and then finally got one to his liking. A rifle double down into the corner, score a couple of runs.
One and two, 2 outs. Upstairs, now it's even at 2-2. Martin strikes out. That ends the top half of the 8th inning. Blue Jays have a 5-4 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zong. New pitcher into the ball game as Roberto Osuna making his 9th appearance of the season. Osuna's off to a good start. He's handled lefties and righties with equal success.
And he's been very efficient when he's in the ball game. 8 games already. This is his 9th. He worked 2 days ago in Tampa. Just 2/3 of an inning. He had that scoreless streak snapped at 9 2/3 innings. That's why his ERA is an excellent 0.87. Fastball changeup combination, and we also saw down there his best slider of the season.
Yeah, the slider's starting to get a little more depth to it. His ability to throw his fastball for strikes has been what has kept him that efficient. In that game down in Tampa, as you mentioned, pitched just to 2/3 of an inning. That ball is drilled off the bat of Mookie Betts. Plays off the wall. Pompey played it perfectly, and he's going to keep Betts to a single. Boy, for the first game playing in left field, Pompey has made a couple of outstanding plays. He threw out Longoria down in Tampa Bay with a strong throw, and here he keeps Betts to a single.
How quick his hands are to get that bat through that zone right there. You play deep, anything over your head is going to come off the wall. Give yourself enough room to catch it. And that ball was hit so hard. Ricochets right to Pompey, gets it in, holds him to a single. Nice play.
That's a huge play in a one-run game. Osuna gets rid of the ball very quickly, and we mentioned that because Betts is a threat to steal. It's a one-run game. For a 20-year-old, he shows remarkable poise.
First time in this environment. This can be a tough place for young pitchers.
Russell Martin turned to the umpire after that last pitch and said, "Hey man, I gotta have that." Danger on deck. David Ortiz, he has doubled in 3 at-bats. Three and 0. The Red Sox, like the Blue Jays, can strike at any point in a ball game, anywhere in their lineup. Pedroia taking all the way.
They've got enough power in Ortiz and Ramirez coming up. What you don't want to do, excuse me, Buck, is compound the problem by walking guys.
There's a base hit to left field. Pedroia singles. Back-to-back singles to start the 8th.
3-1. Dustin Pedroia. I told you earlier that he doesn't get cheated. Fastball with the middle plate. He's one of the best high ball hitters in the game. Every time he gets on top of that one and hits it hard in the left field. The Red Sox have something going here in the 8th inning.
It's the 3rd time tonight that Betts and Pedroia have gotten on back-to-back, where they have continued to put pressure on the Blue Jays, and they have allowed David Ortiz to come to the plate with men on.
Tough combination coming up. A lefty in Ortiz, and then the righty in Ramirez. And this is an interesting formation that the Blue Jays have put out there. If there's a ground ball to the right side, it's going to be an interesting turn.
Ortiz shows bunt. You see that before?
No, not with the game on the line. That is just for show right there. There's the shift. If there's a ground ball to Devin Travis, that's Jose Reyes in the middle of your screen. He's going to have to come from the second base side, catch it, and then wheel and throw to first.
That gets away from Martin, and now Betts is coming home. Martin got quickly and stops Mookie Betts at 3rd. Russell couldn't find it initially off his glove.
Change up to the left-hander down off the plate. You can see Russell looking for it. Betts picked up on that, and he was hard charging coming around 3rd base. And now they got to take the bat right out of Ortiz's hand.
David Ortiz, the intentional pass. That'll load the bases for Hanley Ramirez. Liam Hendricks loosening up for the Blue Jays. Gibbons giving the instructions to the defense.
Turn 2. That's what he wants. You saw him push the infielders back just a little bit, saying 2. Where do you not want to throw Hanley Ramirez? Something out over the plate. That's what that diagram tells you right there. Out over the plate where he can extend those arms. You want to crowd him with fastballs inside.
Ramirez, with the bases loaded, has 6 grand slams. Hanley 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
With a couple of home runs yesterday in that loss to the Baltimore Orioles. So Red Sox have the right guy up there.
Change up. He wouldn't chase. It's 2-0. Blue Jays clinging to a 5-4 lead. First three batters in the eighth have reached. Good cut, fouls it back.
That was right in his hot zone right there. What we just showed you, something out over the plate where he can extend those arms.
First time in the fire at Fenway Park for Roberto Osuna.
7 of his 8 home runs have come to left field. He loves hitting here.
Pompey dives and catches it. Tagging it third is Betts. And Pompey may have hurt himself. What an effort by Dalton Pompey. He's made 2 good plays here this inning defensively.
And he might have saved the game right there for the Blue Jays. That ball gets by him. It's 2, maybe 3. He hit the ground hard. And just like Pablo Sandoval, looked like he might have jarred that neck. Watch him reach out, catch it, and hit the ground hard.
Might have knocked the wind out of himself. What a good play by Pompey.
When that ball gets by him, that's to the wall. And that's trouble.
Pedroia at second. Ortiz at first, and Alan Craig. He was robbed of a base hit in the 6th, his first at bat. He entered the game in that 6th inning defensively as a replacement for Sandoval.
Well, Dalton's still feeling it. See that neck? He jarred it when he hit that ground.
That's the same thing Sandoval did. He left the game with neck soreness.
This is the only way he was going to catch it, but he's full out, and you see his head snap down after he made that catch.
Ball and a strike to Alan Craig. Foul back.
Craig's got that natural right field stroke, so the outfield is shading him that way. Good speed at second base. He's hitting to right field. I think they're going to challenge the Blue Jays' arms. You can see how deep Saunders is in right and Pilar in center.
Off the plate. Craig came to the Red Sox with Joe Kelly in that trade last July. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Now it's a full count. Daniel Nava is on deck. Pedroia at second. He singled. Ortiz was given the intentional walk. Mookie Betts let it off. He scored on the sac fly by Hanley Ramirez, and Daniel Nava is on deck. Foul back. Everything has been away. Boy, if he could get that fastball inside, he might get that double play ball they need right now.
Yeah, simply because he's got that inside out type of swing. You can jam him up. Looking for that ground ball right here.
Pitchers can get intimidated by the green monster and try to pitch away. That inside fastball would do wonders right here. 3-2. Popped out into the seats. Just another regular game at Fenway.
We've seen plenty of them, haven't we, over the years?
You can change the names, you can change the faces, but the games look very similar. Greg couldn't pull the trigger on that slider.
You know, it's what you were saying, the inside type of pitch. It wasn't a fastball, it was a slider to do the trick. He recognizes and sees that pitch coming inside, and then he can't pull the trigger, and it slides right out over the plate for a big strikeout. Oh, that's confidence. In a tight situation like that, to be able to throw a slider 3-2.
That's trusting your catcher. Daniel Nava now is in right field. Started out at first base. First pitch changeup. You don't see 20-year-olds with that kind of confidence. Coming into this season, Roberto Osuna had a total of 109 innings of minor league experience. The Red Sox have tied it up here in the 8th. It's a 5-5 game. Nava has been productive with runners in scoring position. Donaldson again. Nava got jammed, a little humpback liner to third. That ends the inning. Osuna gives up a run but minimizes the damage. We'll go to the 9th. It's a 5-5 game. Daniel Nava. The video game version picked Edwin Encarnacion.
And I like what they were going to go with at the beginning of this game. 3 for 5 with a couple of home runs and 3 RBIs. That's usually what Edwin does. That kind of damage here in this ballpark. 0 for 4 tonight. Obviously no home runs, no RBIs for Encarnacion. He's had a couple of fly balls, a ground ball, and a strikeout.
The simulation is provided by MLB 15 The Show. Baseball is better only on PlayStation. New pitcher into the game for the Red Sox is Koji Uehara.
5 games, 5 decisions, 3 saves, a win, and a loss for Uehara. He has been giving up his share of home runs this season. It's been something that the Red Sox are concerned about. He has lost some of the miles per hour on his fastball. Got a great split.
Ball on the strike. Michael Saunders, the right fielder. There's that split bounding away.
That's nasty. It's very tough on the left-handers. And he'll throw a lot of them. Lefties have 1 hit off of him this season. And it was a home run.
No swing. That's Bill Miller, the veteran, down at third base. Saunders is 0 for 6 against Uehara. Good time for his first hit right here. Splitter. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. For McCann, his second home run, and when the Blue Jays see Brandon Gomes, he doesn't give up anything.
Nothing.
Kevin Pillar's had a 2-hit game. There's a concern in the Red Sox camp about Uehara's velocity. It's dropped down almost 3 miles an hour from what it has been. How does that impact his split finger pitch?
Well, I think you can sit on your split finger then. If you don't throw it as hard as you did, your fastball is just 87 miles an hour. Major leaguers can look for the split and then adjust to the fastball.
John Farrell, in talking about velocity, as you see the Blue Jays bullpen, both Castro and Cicelo. John Farrell said 3 miles an hour on the velocity of your fastball is about a foot at home plate. So instead of that barrel being out in front, squared up, a foot really gets you in trouble. Pillar hits this one to right. Nava over, and that's going to slice out of play.
Yeah, instead of hitting behind the ball and hitting it to right field, you're now catching it out in front. And that's where the home runs tend to come from. And if you don't respect the fastball, you can look for the splitter, and it's a good one. But when you're pumping it in there at 90, 91, and that's all he needs with that splitter, you got to respect the fastball.
.88, that's what we're talking about, and it's down a couple of ticks.
He's 40 years old.
That has an effect.
Yeah, that's okay for a 40-year-old. Well, he's going to have to do it right now with some smarts.
Pillar fights it off. These teams are so similar in their concerns early in the season. They are close in many categories statistically in the bullpen. There's a split, and that was a good one. Boy, the bottom dropped out of that. Pillar strikes out for the second time. Back-to-back strikeouts for Uehara here in the ninth.
A couple of high fastballs the 2 previous pitches, and then you drop this one down at the bottom of the strike zone, and you got to go after it. You were saying earlier how the Blue Jays are averaging 5 runs a game. Well, the Red Sox are averaging 5 runs a game. Look at the score.
5-5.
They're so even. It's scary.
The Red Sox have punched out 14 Blue Jays tonight. Joe Kelly set the tone. He had 10 strikeouts in 6 innings. Ogando got a couple, and now Uehara has 2 strikeouts here in the ninth.
That might be a troubling trend also for the Blue Jay batters. They had a ton of strikeouts down in Tampa. 27 in 3 games. 27 in 3 games. Tonight, 14 strikeouts is a new season high. They've had 12 strikeouts twice as a lineup. Uehara's got his best splitter. Popped up. Brock Holt, the third baseman, calls for it. Uehara has a clean inning in the ninth. It'll be the bottom third of the Red Sox order.
And they'll face Miguel Castro when we come back. It's a 5-5 game.
Ticket package. You pick the games and reserve seats that get you closer to the action. Starting with 10 games up to a full season, our account executives will find the package that best suits your need. Go to BlueJays.com to learn about all the great benefits of being a Blue Jays season ticket package holder. Good luck.
Thank you, Barry. Got a heck of a game going on here. A lot of Blue Jay fans in attendance here at Fenway Park, as is always the case. Blue Jay fans travel well.
And they get into it here, along with the other Boston Red Sox fans. New pitcher for the Blue Jays. This is Miguel Castro. Right into the fire here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Castro has now worked in his 11th game. Last time out, that was against Tampa Bay 2 days ago. He had a blown save, third of an inning, his second blown save of the season. But overall, he's been pretty good.
This is Brock Holt. Holt started out the game in right field, and when Sandoval left, he moved to third base, and that created a domino effect. That brought Alan Craig into the ball game off the bench. Craig went to first, and Daniel Mava, first baseman, went to right.
Yeah, get that bat out. Sandoval's bat has been hot.
The changeup is off the plate outside. This is a real problem area for Castro. He's not been able to get that first out of an inning. He's retired just 3 of 8 first batters this season. He gets a swing from Holt there. That's a bad number for a guy that's pitching late in the ball game. You get that first batter aboard.
It's usually a close game or a tie game. That would do wonders for you if you can get the job done here.
There he retires the first batter. That good changeup, and he strikes out Brock Holt.
Seen a lot of good pitching tonight. You mentioned the 14 strikeouts by the Boston Red Sox. How about the Blue Jays starters? This is number 9 as he throws a changeup and Holt's out in front.
Reached back for a little extra and pulled that wing out of the zone to Xander Bogaerts. Castro, as Pat mentioned, pitched on Saturday, but he only threw 7 pitches. He was saddled with his second blown save of the season. Bogaerts is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Way outside.
He doesn't have to overthrow it. He's got such a smooth delivery one of the first things we noticed in spring training, how effortless he was, and he really stayed in his lanes. That's a saying you hear pitching coaches talk about their pitchers. Stay in their lanes.
There are no upper decks in spring training.
The adrenaline's flowing just a little bit more. You're trying to generate a little bit more arm speed, but staying in your lanes is just, go towards home plate. Step towards home. Don't overdo it.
Good slider. He threw a 3-1 slider and got it in there for a strike to Bogaerts. Catcher Ryan Hannigan is on deck. Boy, what a job by Bogaerts. He stayed back, used his hands, and comes up with a 2-strike base hit. He had seen that slider earlier in the count. He stays back. Watch how he uses his hands.
Watch him stay back. He loads up. He recognizes it. He makes his step towards the ball, but kept his hands back. That allowed him to get enough on that ball to drive it into left field. He's going to be a good hitter.
The Red Sox only have 2 players on their bench. They started with 3 and carrying extra pitcher now because their bullpen has been taxed. They have a backup catcher, Sandy Leon, who's a switch hitter, and Mike Napoli, the right-handed batter. There's a base hit to center. Hannigan drills it to center field. Pilar gets it back in quickly. And the winning run is at second base. Hannigan's first hit of the night.
He wasn't waiting around. He was looking for the first fastball from Miguel Castro. Hit that one back through the middle. That's good. Everyone goes in there to talk to the youngster. In tough now with Betts and Pedroia.
Coaching staff in the Blue Jays dugout checking the defense, make sure they have everybody where they want them. This is Mookie Betts. He's had a big night at the plate. He's doubled and singled, scored a pair. Off the glove, and that's going to bounce back behind home. Martin will retrieve it, but now the winning run is just 90 feet away.
This is a similar type of inning that we saw last inning. A couple of runners on, a ball in the dirt, and Russell cannot come up with it. You can see it's over in the other batter's box. It's a wild pitch. David Ortiz was hitting then, and they elected to walk him to load up the bases.
And now Pedroia is on deck.
Well, they're trying to get some direction from Gibby what they want to do.
The 2 20-year-olds in their first taste of Fenway Park have run into some problems. Base hit, ball game.
Mookie Betts has come up with some big hits and big plays for the Red Sox this year. Came into this game, though, under 200. His last 3 times up. 3 for 3 and a couple of runs scored, and that game winner right there.
The Red Sox, as they've done often over the years, score late. They score a run in the 8th to tie it, a run in the 9th with 1 out to win it. They have a veteran team. The bullpen held the Blue Jays in check. The Jays didn't score after the 4th. And it's a tough loss for the Jays here at Fenway. 6-5 Boston, game 1 of this 3-game series. Remember, coming up next, it's Sportsnet Central on now CBC. Lightning and Red Wings. Sportsnet Hockey, Islanders and Capitals. Sportsnet 1 later on. Giants and Dodgers, more baseball. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night.